that this is a characterization of a lot of the work that needs to be done from the research side. It captures a lot of the things that, I've been to a lot of public meetings with Sharon and David and some other folks that I know I've met at, a gentleman from Lafitte, I can't see him, but, we've talked about seafood safety, where's the oil, how much impact is it really going to have on fisheries, what's the impact going to be on the environment, how can we get straight answers on what's going on. And so that, try to capture this in this figure here. There's the subsurface monitoring program is being vetted through the university systems now, and it's going to be, I think, it's supposed to be coming out this week. And have we done a perfect job through this whole thing? The answer is absolutely not. And we certainly have appreciated and actually have incorporated a lot of the comments that we got, and as we've learned, we've been able to improve the way we've been responsive to this. But now, we're getting into a whole nother phase of this. It's going to last probably the rest of my career. It's probably going to last the rest of your careers, even though I know there's a lot of young people here. But we have a unique opportunity to really to do some things that, and not only here, but set a precedent for other areas as well, as far as how we can do this integration of how we do our business. So with that, I'd like to throw it out for questions, comments, and just like what we have with all our other things that I've done like this, if we don't know the answer, we'll do the best we can to get it, and we'll just be as straightforward as possible with that.
Okay, we have a lot of time for questions. Again, I want to state the ground rules. All questions, please state respectfully. There will be no personal attacks at this meeting. I really don't want to see that. This is a meeting to exchange ideas and information. All right, and as you stand, would you please identify yourselves and then state your question.
Daryl Molly, Sierra Club, Environmental Justice Organizer. And one of the things that I'm trying to get a handle on the NERDA process, we're still in the beginning stages of the NERDA process with the Katrina oil spills. Isn't that correct? We're still, we're 5 years post-Katrina, and we're just getting into the starting gate on some of that stuff. So what kind of timeline are we looking at on this spill, which is, Katrina was 8 million gallons. That was a significant amount of oil. And I know the BP's probably going to say, well, the damage was caused by Katrina, or try to limit things. So, insights on that? Well,
The answer is I don't know. I don't think anybody could give you a prescribed way. I mean, we're out of the certain initial stage into the investigation phase. And how long that lasts? It's a legal process, very prescribed by the Oil Pollution Act. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a very prescribed. Can you hear me okay? Does that make any difference? Make any difference?
No, it's not.
Supposedly it's on, but.
See if it's on there.
Check one. You don't want me singing, I can tell you that.
Sorry.
Oh, so that means you were sleeping through all my comments. Okay.
They heard you.
Okay, so that's why everybody was so nodding with me. And I was lulling you to sleep. No. Daryl, to answer your question, it's hard to determine what the exact process is. As far as, I mean, the process is prescribed, but how long it's going to take. The only thing I can tell you is that there's lots of opportunity for public input, and that's one that's just unfortunately going to take a long time. You look at what's happened with Exxon Valdez. I mean, it was 20-something years. And Dr. Ox here, she can probably tell us a lot more about how that process works. So, but it's going to take time, and I think that's why in the Mavis report there has been some real strong interest in taking some of the penalties under the Clean Water Act that would allow some of these, a significant amount of money that could be used quickly.
So two questions. A quick one on the NOAA process. There's a reopener clause that's routinely added into Clean Water Act settlements. In my knowledge, the only place that's ever been even petitioned to be reopened is the Exxon Valdez. There was $92 million that were requested. Never did the federal government or the state pursue that. So, getting back to the original state is not possible. That's part one. And part two is, it seems to me that the $500,000 is actually $1 million, is actually an attempt by BP to co-opt the NOAA process, to co-opt the task force, and to co-opt long-term restoration. And so I would encourage the federal government to still implement those for higher fines, if that's BP's floor, to put it into law and then probably kick the 10 BP people off the task force. Because I know from my son's experience that we had two wonderful days, one by the federal government that said there wasn't a problem long-term long-term oil, and the industry-sponsored studies have said there absolutely was not a long-term. So I see this, wonderful gift as a total end run around civil penalties and science.
So I guess to make that a question, do we all feel that the $500 million will be applied in some way to offset penalties? And second of all, I think Ricky may be more in the know than most people are. What is, Bryon, you and I were talking about a team of scientists through the Gulf Alliance that is going to apply the $500 million, so maybe you can explain it and answer whether or not you feel there's a concern that there will be a bias in terms of the BP.
It's speculation again, because neither the two of us were in the room to design the process that emerged with the Alliance. I would tell you that my gut, so I can apply the question, is that when it proceeded against the original allocation and the way it was left to the retraction and putting it into the Alliance model was actually ventured into as a very specific attempt to make it independent science. The balance of the two features, the BP versus the non-BP scenario, while I'll absolutely respect, especially the 20 plus years that you have relative to the Valdez experience, we have to support the structure, considering it is a voluntary investment on BP's part, to try to work, and this is going to be work with the restoration task force as well, to try to work closely within that framework to make sure that it truly is independent science, and it's science that actually supports both whatever the objective originally for letting the particular priority areas exist in its original determination, but also to play into the kind of science, research, and data management activities that will emerge, and make sure that they are as open, transparent, vetted, and capable of informing the policy discussions as possible.
My original question was about
NOAA. Right.
And my concern still stands, but
Just let me just follow up a couple things. Ricky, I don't know the answer to the question on the reopening protocols, but let me just say, I think the one arena that I think we're all want to be is not as accountable. We have a lot of decisions that have to be made. We weren't involved in any, a lot of them, shall we say. But the fact is that we all are accountable to what happens, and so I think that there's a role for all of us to play in that. And I think that and part of that accountability is doing what we said that we'd be able to do. And I think that that's where we have to start our conversation from. One of the NOAA process is very prescriptive, and by law, the process goes on and on and on. And you're right, it is, just like this gentleman said, it's a long process. And I wish I had a crystal ball to say how long it's going to take. I just don't know. But I know that they have to go through a certain process to get to the end. The MABUS report is different. MABUS or the ecosystem long-term restoration is not prescriptive. There's an opportunity to really change things more on a real time scale, but there's no funding for that. And again, also the other piece of this that we haven't really talked that much about is how is the administration going to implement the national ocean policy and the different parts of that. So, I apologize, I don't know specifically the answers to that, but do what I can to get the answers for you.